Listen, paganism. We stiff-necked, we don't want correction, we hate to listen.
Praise Yah. Hallelujah. So praise Yah for you all joining us today for our Torah class. Praise the Most High. For you all joining us Facebook Live or even on Podbean. We are in Corinth, Mississippi with our brothers and our sisters, Restoring the Branches Ministry, Pastor Jeremy and Kelly Varner. So we're down here fellowshipping. You still got time to make it. We're on Highway 72 afternoon. So still got time. We're going to be here for a few hours. So we're going to start off with a word of prayer. We're going to get down right into the lesson. Amen. Amen. Hallelujah. Yah, we thank you for your compassion. We thank you for being our strength. Thank you for being good to us. Yah, we praise you for being all wise. And we're humbled that you wink at our ignorance. Because at times we make foolish decisions. But you still love us and don't change your mind about us. So we appreciate that. Yeah, I ask you today that your Ruach HaKodesh, your Holy Spirit, that it lead and guide us into all truth. That it convicts us of sin, that it gives us the power to overcome the adversary. I pray that you touch every individual in this place, touch their bodies, healing, their spirits, give them healing, give them strength. Help us to learn from your word today, to increase in our trust. For your word says that trust, faith comes from hearing and hearing from your word. So we pray that as you speak your word to us, through myself, through Pastor Jeremy, through anybody who wants to make comments, that you help us to grow in trust as you speak your word. So we praise you, we thank you, Yeshua HaMashiach's name. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So we're dealing with this is part 4 of our lesson. I've been teaching on the new covenant, Ruach HaKodesh, Holy Spirit, because it's important. Let me say something. The Most High has been having in my spirit, in my heart. You coming into your so-called identity is not enough.
Amen.
Right. Hebrews knew they were Hebrews when they went to exile. It's amazing how we've become so arrogant that we think that we're the only ones that the Most High can save. You know, that's a small-minded person. You know, Noah wasn't a Hebrew, but he caught favor in the eyes of Yah. Shem wasn't a Hebrew, but he caught favor in the eyes of Yah. Now the Most High loves the Hebrew people. He loves Israel. But when I'm saying he loves Israel, I'm talking about those who are accustomed to the covenant promises and those who are born in DNA. He loves all of Jacob. But you got to understand, all of Jacob is not going to wake up. Some of Jacob is going to be destroyed. Mm-hmm. So we got to get past the arrogance. You know, the Most High resists the proud. That's right. He gives grace to the humble. Amen. You know, pride comes for a fall. So with us being so proud, we're going to miss them. We're going to miss it. Because when you come to who you are, you can put on the zit, you can have on the fringes, you can have on the hat on your head. But if you are not living holy, you still are going to go to hell. The objective is to be reconciled back to Yah through Yeshua.
Amen.
So if you don't have Yeshua, you are definitely not reconciled back to Yah. And you do not have the Ruach HaKodesh, so you are not in this new covenant. So then, therefore, you're going to be outside of the camp, which is being equivalent to going to hell. Yeah, death. Who want to die? Not for the wrong reason, anyway. If you want to suffer for righteousness' sake, that's fine. Because in the future, more than likely, some of us are going to have to give our lives for what we believe. You know, Yeshua says, he who saves his life, you know, will lose it. But if you lose your life for his sake, you'll gain, you'll find life. So I want to go out that way. You know, learn how to have courage and stand in the face of adversity and face my fears. Mm-hmm. To realize that when fear hits me, that the Most High did not give me that spirit. But it gave me love, self-discipline, and a sound mind. A love, power, and a sound mind. A self-discipline. I can keep my composure under adversity. That makes sense? Amen. Okay, thank you. This is my dictionary right here. He helped me get my words together. So we're dealing with the Ruach HaKodesh. So give a review. We've been building up to this lesson. So when you go to Deuteronomy 6 and 4, Moses is saying, Shema Yisrael, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah Echad, right? He's saying, hear Israel and obey. Because Shema means to listen or to hear and obey. Then he gives you the identification that Yahuwah is our Elohim, and he is one, right? And you are to love him with all of your heart, all of your resources. So now when we look at Deuteronomy 6 and 6, he said, and these words are to be on your heart. What words? So when you look into in original Hebrew, it was not called commandments. It was called words. And the first word was, I am Yahuwah your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Egypt. Right? He identified who he was. Right. He tells you that you are to have no other gods before him. He tells you to honor the Sabbath, honor your father and mother. Do not murder. Do not steal. Do not commit adultery. Do not covet. Right? He got all this. He said, and these are to be on your heart. What's your heart? Anybody want to take a stab at that? What is your heart? Mind. Your mind. Anywhere in the scripture that you see the word heart is referring to your mind. So these words are to be on your mind, and we have the responsibility to put these words on our mind. We ought to teach them to our children. Teach them to the children. Talk about them in the countryside, in the field. We ought to constantly have the word of Yah on our lips. Why? Because it helps us to fall in line with him, right? Well, that was the commandment. Israel violated that covenant. They didn't keep Yah's word. So when you go to Numbers 15, we go to Numbers 15, and the Most High is talking to Israel, and I'm just doing a review, so I might not turn there, but Numbers 15, it talks about two types of sin. Sinning inadvertently, by mistake, right? Meaning that you do something that you don't know that's wrong. Let's get this clear for you all who are in this room and you all who are listening online. Sinning intentionally is not a mistake. If you lied, you did it on purpose. Saying I made a mistake is you making an excuse. An excuse is the smoke screens for the uncommitted. So you're making an excuse for sinning on purpose to give yourself an excuse to justify yourself, because you don't want to be accountable or commit. But you know, according to the scriptures, 1 John 1:9, it says, if we confess our sins, he is faithful and just to forgive us and cleanse us from all unrighteousness, right? But the sin that you do on purpose is an ugly sin, and you got to be willing to face the ugly truth in order to get delivered.
Correct.
Tell that.
You got to be willing to face the truth.
Yes, sir.
The truth at times is hard to hear. Nobody want to hear that sick.
Right.
True, but it's an ugly truth.
Nobody want to hear that spouse don't love them anymore. Nobody want to hear that children talk crazy to them. Nobody want to hear bad news, so to speak. And sometimes the truth can be like to us like bad news when we don't want to hear it. We try to avoid it, try to reject it. But the truth is what makes you free. So Numbers 15, the Most High says, okay, if someone sins by mistake, sin inadvertently, they can do a sacrifice, will be forgiven, right? Then he talks about later on, if someone sins on purpose, intentionally, then their sins is going to be held against them, and they're going to be stoned by the entire camp. They're going to be cut off from their people, put outside of the camp. The penalty for intentional sin was death. So now, in the same chapter, there was a young man who was gathering wood on the Shabbat. He was caught gathering wood. They brought him to Moses. They asked what to do with it. Moses prays to Yah. Yah said stone him, because Yah discerned his heart that he knew better. He did it on purpose. Besides, it was Shabbat. You had the day before the Shabbat to gather enough wood for 2 days. So what you did was on purposely wrong. Probably because he was just being lazy the day before. like many of us. Yeah. Let's just be real. We be lazy, and then when we do wrong, we make an excuse to sin. So now when the man sinned, 15:37 says this. And Yah said to Moshe, speak to the people of Israel, instructing them to make through all the generations zizoid on the corners of their garments, and put with the zizi on each corner a blue thread. It is to be a zizi for you to look at, listen, for you to look at, and thereby remember all of y'all's commandments and obey them, so that you won't go around wherever your own heart or your own mind leads you. Your own heart and your eyes lead you to prostitute yourselves. But it will help you remember and obey all my commandments and be holy for your God. I am Yahuwah your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Egypt in order to be your God. Right. I am Yahuwah your Elohim. So now we have the responsibility to have a ZZ, something before us, to help us remember, so that we won't follow our own heart, our own mind. So the Most High is being merciful. He's given us His Torah. We're in covenant. We're married to Him. And now all we got to do is keep His commandments. Take His word to heart.
Correct.
Think about it every time. But what does the Most High says? Let's go to Jeremiah 31. Jeremiah 31:31. And some Bible say, I think, verse 30. Mine says 31. So it says this. Here the days are coming, says Yah, when I will make with you a new covenant, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Mm-hmm. It will not be like the covenant I made with their fathers on the day I took them by the hand and brought them out of Egypt, brought them out of the land of Egypt, because they for their part violated my covenant, even though I for my part was a husband to them, says Yah. So now what was this is what he says. It would not be like the covenant that he made with the fathers. So you got to ask yourself, what is he meaning right there? Is he doing away with this? Is he doing away with this? Is he just saying, okay, we don't have to follow this anymore? We can do what we want to do. He's going to do something new? No, because if he changes his system, then he ceases to be who we say he is. Right. Because he says, I change not.
That's right.
So he cannot be doing away with his commandments. Because if he got to think twice about what he said, that he's indecisive. Think about that. Mm-hmm. He is not a man that he should lie. He definitely don't change his mind. He don't make mistakes. He cannot be all-knowing and got to think twice.
I made a mistake.
Or make a mistake because he doesn't.
That's right.
So what's happening? He said, it won't be like the covenant that I made with their fathers when I brought them out of the land of Egypt. So what he's doing right here is taking the responsibility off of you and putting it on himself. Mm. He's doing what we could not do. So verse 33 says this: for this is the covenant I will make with the house of Israel after those days, says Yah. I will put my Torah within them and write it on their hearts, their mind. And they will be my people. No longer will any of them teach his fellow community member or his brother know Yah, for all will know me from the least of them to the greatest, because I'll forgive their wickedness and remember their sins no more. Let me say this before I go further from this. This don't mean that you won't have pastors or mores or whatever title you want to choose to call them. Mm-hmm. This is not talking about that. Because they were going into captivity right here for violating Yah's covenant. Had nothing to do with them going to church. Had nothing to do with them ministry. The word Yah means to know Yah. They would know me. So now he's going to enable me to know him on his own. By receiving what? The new covenant. Now, what is the seal of this new covenant? Because anybody tell me?
The Ruach HaKodesh.
The who?
The Holy Spirit.
The Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit. That's the seal of this new covenant. How do we obtain this new covenant?
Following His law.
Yeshua, being redeemed through Yeshua. So you will, let's go to John 16, then we're going to start up reading. You will see nowhere in the scriptures where Yeshua says, or Yah says, they're going to find out the Hebrew, and they're going to be in this covenant. You know how many Hebrews going to hell?
Right.
So it's your identity. Your identity is not just it. Listen, when you do come into the knowledge of being who you are, then comes responsibility.
Right.
This is a serious question. I'm gonna ask this question. Is this serious to y'all?
Amen.
No, for real. Is this real serious?
So it's life.
Or we just having church? You know, we just here gathering together, going through the motion. Or do you believe in this?
Right.
Does this work for your life? Or you just going through the motion? Do you really want to live right?
Right.
Or do you just want to you want to come to some kind of form of identification? Well, I don't gotta be a Hebrew to be known. I rather be. I could be a drug dealer. They know that's Cuba. He sell dope. You know, so woo blood. That's identification. So it's got to be more than just who you are.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Not only was Israel asleep, but even those who are around Israel, some of them are asleep also.
Correct. Whole world. That's right.
If you see someone who is not a physical blood-born Israelite, but is grafted in, and they see you as Israel, Yah woke them up the same way He woke you up.
Hallelujah.
So who are we to decide who He can and who He can't deliver?
Correct.
Who He will and who He won't? When you yourself, your own righteousness is as filthy rags. And you're going to be in trouble like him if neither one of y'all receive Yeshua.
Amen.
That's book.
You know, I have 4 children. I got 4 grandchildren, 5 grandchildren. Anyway, but if I saw, if someone was to call my house and say, Carrie, we got a baby that was abandoned by his mother. It's a German baby. He don't have anywhere else to go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say, yeah, bring him in the house. I'll take him because I can't see a child being rejected, and I'll embrace them as my own.
Mm-hmm.
So if anyone turns to Yah and humbles themselves toward Him,
Correct.
He gonna throw them out.
Correct.
How can that be? Then how can He be loved? How can He reject me? I'm humbling myself before Him. I'm seeking His face. So anyway, let's get back on track. So now, John 16:8. Y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when He comes, He will show that the world is wrong about sin. Some of y'all's Bible says He will convict the world of sin. About righteousness and about judgment. About sin in that people don't put their trust in me. About righteousness in that I am going to the Father and you will no longer see me. And about judgment in that the ruler of this world has been judged. I still have many things to tell you, but you can't bear them now. However, when the Spirit of truth comes, He will guide you into all truth. For He will not speak on His own initiative, but will say only what He hears. He will also announce to you the events of the future. He will glorify me, because He will receive from what is mine and announce it to you. Everything the Father has is mine. This is why I said that He receives from what is mine and will announce it to you. So now the Spirit of truth is going to convict the world of sin. how do we find out? Here's the question. How do we find out about what sin was?
Law.
Through the law. Right? What is sin?
In violation of the Torah.
Violation of the Torah.
That's John 3 and 4.
Right. So if sin is violation of Torah,
Mm-hmm.
and the Ruach HaKodesh is going to convict you of sin, right? So, what shows you what sin is? The who? The Torah.
Mm-hmm.
So the Ruach HaKodesh has to be then what? The Torah on your heart.
Correct. Correct.
To give you an understanding about what sin is. You have to have this. But in order to have this, you got to have Yeshua. Right?
Correct.
Let's go to Romans 8. Verse 9. We're going to try to skip everybody. Y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
Romans 8 and 9 says this. But you do not identify with your old nature, but with the Spirit. Okay, what's your old nature?
Flesh.
Your flesh. Your own what?
My
Heart.
Yeah.
Your own mindset. Your carnal nature, your carnal mindset, your own mindset. You. How you think. Your thinking is stinking. Stinking thinking. We got some stinking things. Anybody ever thought bad about somebody? Come on, tell the truth, man. Been born again. Wish they fall and hurt their leg. Pop their ankle. I can't stand her. I can't stand him. They didn't even speak to me.
Right.
Watch them. Anybody ever heard that? Supposed to be born again with these bad thoughts. Anybody ever had any lustful thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, she got a big old derriere. I said it right. He got a nice chest. We'll have a woman look at a man. You know. Right. Yeah. Yeah, clarify these 2020. So, and being married, that's your thinking. The Ruach HaKodesh helps you to get control of that. Because now you have the ability through him to overcome that thinking. We're going to go there in a second. But let's finish this verse, this 9. It says, but you do not identify with your own nature, provided the Spirit of Yah is living inside of you. For anyone who doesn't have the Spirit of Messiah doesn't belong to him. So if you don't have the Spirit of Messiah, if you don't have the Spirit, you don't belong to Yah. It does not matter who you say you are.
Correct. Correct.
You have to have the Spirit of Messiah in order for you to overcome your own mindset. Yeshua says in Matthew 5th chapter, he said, do not think I have come to abolish the Torah. Now, Matthew was written in Hebrew. So we're not going to talk from a Greek perspective. We're going to say from a Hebrew perspective. He said, do not think I have come to abolish the Torah, but I have not come to abolish, but to complete. So that word, what does it mean in Hebrew?
fulfill,
What does it mean?
implement,
To implement,
manifest.
to manifest, to materialize, to consummate. So he says, I didn't come to do away with it. I came to implement it. Woo, that's heavy, ain't it?
Yep.
I mean, I came to do it.
Make sure you have some.
There it is. I came to bring it to its fullest extent. I'm going to live it out before you. Let's go there. Because I want y'all to see something. This is heavy. Because he's showing us how the Ruach is going to guide us to live for y'all. I saw that. I said, man, I want to be born again. I need to have this. You know what? You know what has happened? Everybody is so busy talking about being Hebrew that we forgot about Yeshua. We forgot about dealing with the issue of sin.
Yep.
We're in this place not because of identity, but because of sin. You're in diaspora because of your sin. But you know what? The Most High loves you. I heard Pastor Mickens say something. We were listening to a lesson. He said he punished us. That means he loves us. Because he rebukes who he corrects who he loves. So he got you in exile because he didn't want to destroy you.
Correct.
So he wanted to punish you to teach you a lesson to make you turn back to him.
Correct.
And we're going to go there in a minute. Deuteronomy 31. That's heavy. I said, wow. He must love me a lot.
Right.
Woo, I be going through. But you know what though? I've learned and I'm learning how to go forward and not give in. Right?
Yeah.
So he says, do not think I have come to abolish the Torah and the prophets. I have not come to abolish, but to complete, right? Yes, indeed, I tell you that until heaven and earth pass away, not so much as a yud or a stroke will pass from the Torah.
That's right.
So he gonna bring it to fruition. He gonna live it out before you, and it ain't gonna pass away, right? It's easy for you to wake up and nothing be here. And that's impossible. God never woke up and everything was gone.
Yeah.
Anybody ever woke up and just saw nothing in the void? There's none. You just in the air. You translate it. Just what you call it, you just there. Anybody ever seen that before in their life? Okay, because you have, I want to know how you do that. So now until everything that must happen has happened. So whoever disobeys the least of these commandments and teaches others to do so will be called least in the kingdom of heaven.
Have mercy.
If you disobey these and you teach others to do so. And the adversary is cunning because he's not just teaching us to do so by word. It's in action.
And that's right.
We was listening to Maccabees and Eleazar the priest. He was told, to eat the pork. But he wouldn't eat it. So they said, well, you know what? Well, you ain't really just got to eat it. Just act like you eat it. Because if you act like he eat it, that means the people who looking at him going to see him acting like they're doing what? They going to see him and think he eating it.
Yep.
It's going to cause him to do what?
Eat it.
Eat it. So your actions, how you carry yourself, what you do will cause others to go astray.
Yep.
So teaching others to do so is not just by your talk. It's how you live your life.
You live.
So the Ruach HaKodesh will help you walk it out.
Choose the way of escape.
So you won't teach us to disobey also. Well, you ain't got to follow the law. We redeemed from the curse of the law. That's true. You are redeemed from death, from the penalty of death, because that's the curse of the law. That don't mean you're redeemed from Torah, because then that means the Torah is bad.
Right.
And then if you are redeemed from the Torah, you can't have the Ruach HaKodesh because that's the Torah on your heart.
Right.
So the adversary trying to deceive you and tell you that you don't want to be in this new covenant. We can't believe that. Well, it's not done by works. Well, you're not saved by works. You're saved by the grace of Yah.
Correct.
But you still got to walk it out. You're not saved by works, but you got to have your faith with works. Because as the soul is dead without the body, as the body is dead without the soul, so is your faith without your works.
Good book.
So you're not saved by what you do. You're saved by the blood of Hamashiach, but you got to live out what he say. Now everybody that says, Lord, Lord, will enter into this kingdom.
Right.
But only those who do what my Father in heavens want. He who hears, he says of mine, I will consider him to be like a what? A sensible man, a wise man, a righteous man, who built his house on a foundation. So when the storms of life came and the winds blew, he was able to stand. I like the complete Jewish version when it says, he who hears, he says of mine, and don't do him, is like a stupid man. Built your house on sand. You know sand is shaking, always moving. Can't put pressure on it to compact it because it's still going to go down. So you can't stand. In adversity, when you don't obey Torah, you give up. Have you ever been born again and thought when you when you was born again and you were living disobedient and storms came in your life because you wouldn't obey Yah, you ever feel confused? I don't think y'all hear me. I don't know what's going on. You ever feel like that because you live wrong? I'm gonna resort back to sin, smoking blunts, pornography, sex, drinking, getting drunk. Anybody did that? Why? Because you're not taking heed to the word. You lean to your own understanding. So you're living on your own mindset.
Yep.
You're not being led by the Ruach of Yah to deny yourself. I'm gonna try to end it because this is. I think this is a good lesson.
Amen.
He's teaching me. So Yeshua is talking. He says you'll be considered the least in the kingdom, but whoever obeys and them and so teaches will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I tell you that unless your righteousness is far greater than the Torah teachers and the Pharisees, you will certainly not enter the kingdom. What does he mean? Because they were living by tradition.
Have mercy.
They were not living by Torah. So they were living in their own righteousness.
Yep.
How does your righteousness exceed them? Because your righteousness is in him. He righteous you.
Right.
So you live a surrendered life walking in humility toward Yah through Yeshua, it exceeds the Pharisees. But when you live by religious mindset and your own ability, then of course you're going to fall. I've tried out, man, listen, I'm telling you something, I've tried it. I've tried it for myself, and it did not work. Okay. So then he tells you this in 5:21. This is by the Spirit, because it's the Spirit that's going to help you. Not the letter of it, the spirit of it. Do not murder. Do not murder was to be applied in Torah to put on their hearts to make them think not to have animosity toward their brother.
Amen.
They can put it on their hearts. So Yeshua is coming to show them through the Spirit of Yah. He says this, you have heard that our fathers were told, do not murder. And that anyone who commits murder will be subject to judgment, right? But I tell you that anyone who nurses anger against his brother will be subject to judgment. That whoever calls his brother you good for nothing will be brought before the Sanhedrin. That whoever says fool incurs the penalty of burning in the fire of the Gehenna. So he says if you nurse anger. That means, because why? Because what is murder? What kind of sin is murder? Intentional.
Unless, of course, you do it on accident.
Then that's not murder. That's maybe manslaughter. I was talking to my father, and me and my father got a good relationship. And we were talking yesterday, and he was telling me that my father murdered a man. And he don't like to talk about it. He said, man, he said I made a bad decision. I said, well, you know, what's the accident? He said, no, mine wasn't an accident. He said, I had a choice. He said, I left and came back. He said, and I murdered the man. So think about that. It's intentional. He nursed the anger. He couldn't let it go. He couldn't allow the Ruach HaKodesh to minister to his mind and tell him to walk away. So he came back. We got to live by the Spirit because doing it by the letter, you just murder. Come on, think about it first. Think about it. You listen. The Ruach HaKodesh helps you. You do not have to sin on purpose. Now I know this is gonna take some people gonna challenge this, and they don't like what I say. But you ain't gotta lie unless you want to. Now there's two kinds of sin. We're all ignorant in things, so we do wrong and not knowing we're doing wrong, and that's understandable to y'all. Which is our ignorance. He has compassion. He brings it into the knowledge of it so we can do better. But he knows when we don't know better, and he knows when we do know better. But now doing wrong on purpose, you don't have to anymore. And you have the power through the Ruach HaKodesh to not do it. Now, if you do mess up, he does forgive you. But now when you live in a lifestyle of messing up on purpose, don't fool yourself. Hebrews 10:26 says that after you have come to the knowledge of the truth, the Ruach HaKodesh is going to do what? Convict you of sin and lead you into what?
All right.
All truth. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm spinning on the camera and carrying on. So all truth. So what's truth? Is what I'm saying the truth? Is my word the truth? No. I beg to differ. I don't think it is. Nope. Neither is your word, neither.
His is.
Y'all's word is the truth.
Yes.
So now when you come to the knowledge of the truth and you continue to sin on purpose, now you stand in danger of judgment. The Ruach HaKodesh is the seal that's going to save you from the wrath of Yah. Yeah, because Yeshua, he redeems you back to Yah. He reconciles you back to Yah, seals you with the Spirit, and then you enter this new covenant. And then you have the ability to do what's right on purpose. So we ain't got to lie. We ain't got to steal. We don't have to murder. We don't have to hate anybody.
Yep.
Man, we so doggone ignorant.
Correct.
You read Jeremiah, y'all said this, my people are stupid. You don't believe me? I just read it for you. You know, it's amazing. I turn right here, right close to it. Ain't that something? Jeremiah, it's Jeremiah somewhere. We're gonna find it because it's right here. In it. I turn like close to it. Right here. Jeremiah 4:22 says this: "It is because my people are foolish. They do not know me. They are stupid children without understanding, wise when doing evil. But they don't know how to do good." That's heavy. That's our dad tells them, y'all some foolish. Y'all despising wisdom and instruction.
Yep.
Well, the Ruach HaKodesh helps you not to be so stupid. We get offended at saying stupid, but you say it when you ain't here. You say it at work. Say it under your breath by folk. I mean, come on, let's not be hypocritical now. We know. Come on now. Let's put the light on you. Let's see what you got going on. But the Ruach HaKodesh helps us not to hold grudge, not to say food. And when he said call them good for nothing or food, he's not meaning from the point of saying you despise wisdom. He's saying food to be derogative, to spark the fight, to spark the anger that can cause murder. It's a spirit. You think Yah puts his Torah on your heart, allows you to love under pressure. Ain't that something?
Right.
Or even adultery. Do not commit adultery.
Love under pressure.
You have heard that our fathers were told, do not commit adultery. But I tell you that a man who even looks at a woman with the purpose of lusting after her has already committed adultery in his what? In his heart, in his mind. Looking at her. Ooh, Lord, I ain't no telling what I'll do with her. I'll tie her up. Come on, men. I'm 45 years old. I love my wife and I don't do that. I don't flirt. Because I know me flirting gonna cause some other things to happen. If I'm flirting, I'm trying to talk to you to see what you're gonna say. Hey, what's up, girl? What's your name? That's 90s. You don't understand that kind of talk. Back in the 90s. I don't know what y'all saying there. What's up, bro? They call each other there, bruh. You call a girl, bruh. Dude. That you can't tell.
Man, you might be telling the truth.
They got an Adam's apple and no one done this belt, you might be in a little trouble.
What up, dude?
What up, dude?
What's up, bro?
Man, listen. Push pause. Human break. We called today to order a pizza. Well, y'all see the name of the place. And someone answers the phone, sound like a woman. I thought just like one. Pull up to the place, they sound like it in person. They're about 6'5" with a beard. Man. Sound like, but on the phone, it sound like a woman. And they weren't acting funny or nothing, they just sound like a woman. Unless they went through the change, I don't know. But I'm just saying, they sound like a woman. It blew my mind. So now that you can't tell. But anyway, so the Ruach HaKodesh helps us. And listen, this covenant is not only for Israel. Well, let me say it different. It is for Israel. Israel only. Let me explain myself.
You're all right.
Once you're wrapped into the covenant promises of Yah, you're part of Israel according to Yah.
Yeah. Amen.
When you read in the prophets, they say Jacob and Israel in the same sentences sometimes. Because Jacob meaning all Hebrews. Israel meaning all in the covenant. So this covenant is not just only for all natural born Hebrews. Let's prove it. I'm gonna go to Acts 2 first, then I'm gonna go to Acts 10. Is everybody okay with that? Because I wanna have the Ruach HaKodesh.
Amen.
I don't want to sit here and be looking like a fool before the Most High. You look like a, listen, when you're not living right, you look like a fool. And guess who you fooling? Just yourself. I've seen people who used to be beautiful, men and women, get on drugs,
Right.
run themselves down, and still think they look beautiful. To who?
Uh-oh. You know he didn't say it like that.
But we can deceive ourselves. You lost 75. You was 180 pounds. Here you with 97 pounds. And that was last year.
Right.
And no teeth in your
No
head.
teeth, man. You look sick.
Man.
You think we don't know what's going on with you?
Mm.
I got a friend of mine who was talking about his sister, and he said my sister's on drugs, and we trying to talk to her, and she keep telling us that she's not on drugs.
Mm.
But she said she go to the store and look like home 3 or 4 days. Well, they found her last month OD in a motel room on heroin. She can't lie now.
Mm.
You're only deceiving yourself. We see what you're on. We're trying to offer you help, but you can't receive the help because you're in denial. That's what a great thing too about the Ruach HaKodesh. It helps you to face the ugly truth
Yes. Amen.
and brings you out of denial. I had to admit a lot of stuff about myself. Lazy.
Right.
Then we gotta get another vehicle. My fault. Lazy getting the oil change. One taken care of. Wife fussing about getting it washed. All kinds of things. One taking the fluids in it. Go to my own job and check everything weekly. We got to turn the report in. One ain't check my own vehicle. Broke down, got to spend money now. All of a sudden, oh man, looking like oops, upside the head. That's how our spiritual life is.
Have mercy.
Yeah.
It's after something get messed up to realize, oh,
No, that's right.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right, let's maintain.
man.
Go ahead.
You got to maintain it.
But why get to that point?
All right, come
When the
on.
Ruach HaKodesh helps you to live a sin-free lifestyle. And I mean sin-free from the point of not sinning on purpose.
Right.
Because you ain't got to commit adultery. You ain't got to lie. You ain't got to steal. You ain't got to murder. You can honor the Sabbath. You can honor your father and your mother. All those things are a choice. And because we refuse to put it on our hearts, and because the Most High gave us these seeds, and this didn't help us, the Ruach HaKodesh will help us. So now he'll help us to not live in sin. So I rebuke my son. He'll say, yes, sir, still trying to get tough and get his head busted. He'll humble himself and say, yes, sir. That's real, though, because, young men get a little older, get to smell themselves,
No, you're right.
and figure they can do something. It's a difference between a grown man's strength. I'm a grown man. So anyway, Acts 2, Yeshua says this, the Ruach HaKodesh is going to do what? Convict the world of sin, right? Leading guides into what? All truth.
Yes.
Here's what he says coming to pass. At one point, Acts 2:37 says this, on hearing this, they were stung in their what? Hearts, in their minds. And they said to Kepha and the other emissaries or apostles, brothers, what should we do?
What should we do?
Peter said to them, turn from your sin,
Yeah.
return to Yah, and each of you be immersed on the authority of Yeshua the Messiah into the forgiveness of your sins. And you will receive the gift of the Ruach HaKodesh for the promises for who? You. And for your children, and for those far away, as many as Yah our Elohim may call.
That's right.
This promise is for you. Just turn from your sins. Be immersed on the authority of Yeshua. But what had to happen? They had to acknowledge their guilt, their sin.
Right.
He's preaching to them. He's telling about what Joel said, then about David being David, what David had said. Then he says, but Jesus or Yeshua, whom you crucified, who you put on the stake, they were stung in the heart. It tore them up. Now here it is. Go to Acts 10. Let's get some background. We got Shimon, Kepha, Simon Peter, right? He's at Simon, the lieutenant's house on the roof. He goes to a vision. He sees a sheet spread out. He sees all kind of animals on the sheet. Spirit speaks, said, Peter, slay and eat.
Yep.
He said, I ain't finna eat that. That's uncommon. The Most High said, do not call what I've called uncommon, unclean.
Right.
He was not talking about food. So we go to 10:28. It says this. He said to them, you are all aware that for a man who is a Jew to have close association with someone who belongs to another people. Now let me say this. This is not talking about the Northern Kingdom.
Thank you.
He's talking about another people. A Jew is the same as a Naphtaliite, whatever you want to call them. A Gadite, a Benjaminite. Who? Asherite, Issachar. Issacharian, right? You want to say. So now, and they are not another people. You know how I know this? Because you never see in Torah the Most High call them another people. He associated them all together. They're the ones who gave themselves different names. Y'all call them Israel and Judah. Why? Because they split themselves up from the northern and southern kingdom, but all of Ephraim in the northern kingdom was called what? Israel. Some of Benjamin. All of the southern kingdom was Judah, some of Benjamin, and some of Levi was Judah, right? And they were still called Israel at the beginning. The whole house of Israel. The new covenant is to Israel. I will make a new covenant with who? The house of Israel and the house of Judah, right? Then he said, this is the covenant with Israel. He's talking about everybody. He's not calling them people far away. This talking about Gentiles. Period. White man, black man, Chinese man, whatever color man. And then guess what? Your skin color don't necessarily make you a Jew.
Correct.
Or a Gentile. Don't get beside yourself and think, well, I'm black as a boot. You still can be a Hamite. I'm just being real. Little big head itself. Anyway. So then he says, see right here. Says, you are well aware that for a man who is a Jew to have close association with someone who belongs to other people or to come visit him is something that just isn't done. But Yah has shown me not to call any man common or unclean. Mm-hmm. So when I was summoned, I came without raising any questions. Tell me, why did you send for me? So now Yah has showed Peter's in the vision.
Right. He get it.
He understands the vision.
Mm-hmm.
Cornelius sent for him though. He said, why you sending for me? Cornelius answered, 3 days ago around this time, I was at Micah prayers in my house when suddenly a man in shiny clothes stood in front of me and said, Yah has heard your prayer and remembered your acts of charity. Now sent to Yaffo and asked for Shimon, known as Kepha. He is staying at Shimon, a little town by the sea. I sent immediately, and you have been kind enough to come. Now all of us are here in the presence of Yah to hear everything the Lord has offered to you to say. Now listen, order you to say. Now listen. He says that the Most High says I was in the Micah prayers. I was over there praying in my own house, man. I'm praying,
right.
Micah prayer, and also the man in shining clothes standing in front of me.
Right.
Only I came in the room. He is right there. He says that Yah has did what? Heard your prayers and remembered your acts of charity.
Mm-hmm. Love.
His love to who? Now, don't get it twisted. We playing silly games. He remembered his acts of love to his people and everybody else. And y'all remember that and send his prayers. So he said, go get Peter. This is what Peter says. Then Kepha addressed them. I now understand that Yah does not play favorites, but that whoever fears him
Amazing.
and does what is right
Amazing.
is acceptable to him, no matter what people he belongs to. See, we got
That's in the book. Go ahead.
we got to quit getting beside ourselves.
Go ahead.
See, our arrogance.
Go
The
ahead.
Ruach HaKodesh, you can't be arrogant. A proud look is something he rejects.
Go ahead.
Overestimate yourself, he can't handle that. He resists the proud. He gives grace to the humble. Matter of fact, humble will exalt you. You know that? That's amazing, ain't it? So then now Peter is talking. Y'all ready? Here is the message that he sent to the sons of Israel, that's a shalom through Yeshua the Messiah, who is Lord of everything. You know what has been going on throughout Judah, starting from the Galilee after the immersion of Yochanan proclaimed. How God anointed Yeshua from Nazareth with the Ruach HaKodesh and with power. How Yeshua went about doing good and healing all the people oppressed by the adversary because Yah was with him. Now let's push pause. So now he's talking. Now he preaching. He telling about Yeshua HaMashiach. Because the most man, listen, the Most High heard Cornelius, seeing what he done, and wanted to bring him into his covenant. You know the foundation of your salvation was faith in the way. It wasn't Torah. The Torah shows you what sin is.
That's right.
But it was through that trust of that word that caused them to get where they had to go.
Mm-hmm.
Without faith, without trust, it's impossible to please Yah.
Mm-hmm.
And trust shows obedience. I'm gonna get there where I gotta go. But Abraham, when Abraham was in Genesis 17, he says, "Oh, that Ishmael may find favor in your sight." Y'all said, "No, I'm gonna do it through Sarah." Abraham laughed within himself. So the Most High said, "We're gonna name him Laughter." Yishai. Isaac means laughter. So now in 22 of Genesis, he says this. He says, Yah tested Abraham. Abraham, give me the son who you love. Well, Abraham got up. Well, he told those men that me and the boy will be back. He didn't say that with hopes of Yah changing his mind. Not at all. He said it with hope of Yah keeping his word, what he said. So the word says that Abraham believed that the Most High could raise the dead. So it was his trust, his faith that caused Yah to see him. He called that place, some say Jehovah Jireh, or how you want to say it in Hebrew. But the Lord sees, he hears, he gives attention to. Why? Because Abraham's faith. He turned back and looked behind him. It's a ram in the thicket. Did he walk past that ram when he got there? He didn't even see it. He probably couldn't see it until his trust produced the results. So it was his trust that got Yah to move on his behalf. It's our trust. Listen to this. Hebrews says we look unto Yeshua, who is the initiator and the completer of our trust, or the author and the finisher of our trust. Listen to this. When Yeshua was immersed by John, he is the only one who heard Yah speaking, calling him his beloved son. Nobody else heard that. He had to believe that. And your trust is not what everybody else hear. It's what the Most High has said in His word, and you stand on in spite of adversity. So he gets up, and that very word is challenged. If you are a son of Yah, then turn these stones to bread. It was Yeshua's faith that got him over there, because he quoted the word. Where does your trust come from? From what? Hearing. And hearing from what? Yah's word. So he quoted Deuteronomy 8 and said that, I humbled you, and man shall not live by bread alone. So he quoted the word and enabled him to know that Yah was the provider, and he ain't got to do it for himself. So now we look up to him, and that's where our trust comes from. So now we look at Peter. He gets up. Peter is going to the Gentiles, those who are not part of Israel. And he got to do it through obedience regardless of what's happening.
Right.
And he got to obey.
Amen.
He cannot disobey because also, they nasty. We can't touch them.
Right.
They are our enemies. You go, foolish folks. Listen, you been surrounded by your enemies all your life. When you came out of Egypt, you was surrounded by enemies came out with you. The Egyptians came out with you. While they was while they were in Jerusalem, surrounded by Romans, they were surrounded by their enemies. In Maccabees, Israel's stupidity was to go back and covenant with their enemies. But all of a sudden now, we don't want to deal with it. We can't talk to them. We're better than them. You foolish person, you. That's foolish. So now Peter's talking to him about Yeshua on the stake, dying. And then verse 44 says this, Keeper was still saying these things when the Ruach HaKodesh fell on all who was hearing the message. All the believers from the circumcision faction who had accompanied Kepha were amazed that the gift of the Ruach HaKodesh was also being poured out on the Gentiles, for they heard them speaking in tongues or languages and praising Yah. Kepha's response was, is anyone prepared to prohibit these people from being immersed in water?
Wow.
After all, they have received the Ruach HaKodesh just as we did.
Come on now.
As he ordered that they may be immersed in the name of Yeshua the Messiah, Then they asked Kiefer to stay on there for a few days. Listen here. So the Gentiles too could be receive the Ruach HaKodesh.
Yes.
Because this new covenant brings us to Yah. And it gives you power.
Yes.
It ain't about you walking around cutting that old shame, about ha-ha and all that stuff. But it gives you the ability to overcome.
Yes.
You are no longer a sinner when you walk in righteousness because a sinner sins. And you ain't got to sin on purpose. If you do, you got an advocate. But now you don't have to.
Yeah.
Because now when you begin to study the scripture, the Ruach HaKodesh shows you your position. Now, I'm not into doctrine.
Right.
About the order of Melchizedek and all that. I don't care about the doctrine. I'm into the word. And I know that Yeshua, after he had passed and got back up, he went to the real heaven. Put his blood on the mercy seat.
Yes.
And so now we're reconciled back to Yah. So he's the lamb that was slain who is worthy to open the seal.
Yes.
So that's through him we have life. So come on, come out of your sins. You're a Hebrew, then so what?
Yeah.
If you can't live right, then you still going to hell, Hebrew you. Nigga, you want to call yourself that, you're going to hell. Hebrew, you want to call yourself that, you're going to hell. White boy, white folks, call yourself that, you're going to hell. You got to be a believer who believes in Yeshua HaMashiach, walks in righteousness, and don't want to walk away. Listen, a lot of folks don't want to follow me. I don't care because I'm going to live right, period. And I'm not going to hate you because it ain't my place to hate you. But I know one thing, I refuse to allow you to send me to a place I don't want to go.
All right now.
I remember one time when I was a kid, and we had some friends want to go to a store one day and steal beer. Out with beer. So I went there with them. I came out with some Coke. I wanted to try to fit in. So now here we go. We ain't get the Coke. We lost the Cokes. I don't know what happened. I think I had one left. I got finished running. And when I had the plastic ring around them, that's old school. So now we go to the corner pocket. My friend going to this store. He's in prison right now. He got a life sentence. But anyway, he going to this store. And they put us out because we won 21. We accused him of being racist when clearly on the glass it said you got to be 21 with ID.
Right.
And when you go in there, every racist in there, not just us. So, but we say y'all racist don't like us. So we go out of the store. My friend steals the person's radio out the car. Now, I ain't had to touch the car, the radio, because he's stupid for doing it anyway. I could have walked because my grandma stayed around the street from the store.
Right.
But I chose to get in the car. So we driving, trying to get away. Police catch us.
Right.
I go to jail with them. So here I am, my stupid self locked up, trying to follow somebody else. Why would you cause yourself to be bound in chains and locked in sin because somebody else's opinion instead of you being free by Yah's word? We got to stop living by our own carnal mindset. We talk about, I'm Hebrew, Shalom, Yasharah. We spend all these words, but nobody wants to live right. We're big on not eating meat. I don't eat meat, I'm vegan. You can be a vegan, you can be listen, beer and fried okra is vegan. And you can get high cholesterol. You can not eat meat. But I'm going to tell you something. If you're living in sin, you can go to hell. You can find a person who eats pork hot dogs, pork chops, pork hamburger, and out of ignorance and seeking Yah. And I believe that Yah will have more mercy on that person than you who know better and still choose to do wrong.
Say it.
We're big on how we're going to eat, but you got to have the Ruach HaKodesh.
Say it.
Yes.
You got to have power.
Say it.
You're walking around still sick.
Say it.
You know, in the Hebrew mindset, in those days, when they were sick, they was involved in sin.
Say it.
So when Yeshua healed the sick, he spoke healing on them
Say it.
to let them know they can be free. And we're still walking around sick. Yeah, you still sick. You something wrong with your sin sick soul. We got Zera'at. Zera'at is a affliction of the soul trying to hide your sin.
Yeah.
And y'all gonna reveal your heart to you.
Yes, it will.
Gonna call you like Miriam. You better get the story. Miriam had Lashon Hara. She was gossiping, and she was trying to divide brothers. Pay attention. Moses was the man who Yah had chose and was the high priest. But Miriam tried to use the excuse of him being married to Ethiopia. But when she spoke out of her mouth, she said, well, y'all use all of us. Not just Moses. And she was trying to divide brothers. So y'all heard what she said. He appeared and said, come here, Miriam and Aaron. Holler at Moses. He said, listen, when I speak, I talk to Moses face to face. You know, when I talk to y'all, it's in visions and dreams.
Yep.
But not so with Moses.
Yep.
He hear me audibly, he feel me tangibly. He know who I am. But I don't deal that with y'all. So why wasn't y'all afraid to even do what you did? And he walked away, his anger was killed against them. And Miriam was leprous as snow. That meant her heart was revealed. Aaron cried out, please, Moses, pray to God to help him get Miriam back. He said he prays to Yah. Yah said if her daddy would have spit in her face, she would have been ashamed. She was outside the camp for 7 days. So she was outside of Yah's presence, outside of the camp of provision, sick by herself. Her own family couldn't come see her. Her own husband couldn't even say hi to her. Kids couldn't say, hey, mama. They had to leave her alone because when you have zera'at or leprosy, you was to cover your face and declare unclean, unclean, so no one can approach you. And listen, don't allow no Hebrew heathen or Gentile Jezebel to cause you to split your brothers, because then y'all gonna deal with you the same way.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just trying to take
Go
you the
ahead,
truth.
preach.
I'm finna stop because we gotta have our Pastor Jeremy gotta teach us. But I'm just trying to tell you the truth.
Man.
We walk around here stupid.
Correct.
Don't know how to love people.
That's right.
Don't know how to love people. Y'all love you. I ain't get to all my scriptures, but the word says this: when you were in your sin, the Messiah died for the ungodly.
Yep.
You was ungodly. You was an enemy of Yah.
Yep.
He did a paradigm shift. He died your death and didn't do what you did. He was your friend. He considered you a friend when you didn't even know him. He became sin for you. He became the very thing that y'all detested on your behalf. He took every stone. And if you was a homosexual, you probably burned by fire. He took that penalty. He went to a place that we were supposed to go to keep us from going. And here we are taking his blood lightly.
Right.
We're taking his covenant too light.
Yep.
We're so big on we out of Christianity now. We don't
Right.
deal with the church.
Right.
Ain't no money cometh. Man, that's
Right.
but you're a Hebrew and you stingy now. Don't even want to give to help support the ministry.
Right.
You self-righteous now. You can't be accountable. Want to be in your home and learn the word. Listen to 12 teachers. All of them saying the same thing.
Yep.
You know, saying different things.
Right.
You confused.
Yep.
You don't know who to like. For
Yep.
one minute you indecisive.
Yep.
You go on your work and you got Brother Phil, who's a Gentile, saying, hey, you don't talk to him no more.
Yep.
Brother Phil family being poor like your family being poor. They ain't never owned no slaves.
Yep.
But you mad at everybody that's white.
Yep.
Then black folks own slaves too. Why would I be mad at them?
Come on.
But we're so blinded because the adversary has us in our own natural mindset. The word says the God of this world has blinded the mind of the children of disobedience. And your mind is blind. You can't see past your own nose because you won't want to live right. We need to change. We need to turn. We need to receive this renewed covenant.
Yes, sir.
Let's walk in righteousness and holiness.
Yes.
Let's walk in our trust. I'm going to say this and I'm going to end. When Israel came out of Egypt, I think about 2 messages. But when Israel came out of Egypt, they had a commandment to love the stranger. There was even in their gates.
Tell it.
What's the difference now?
All right.
What's the difference now? So is the Most High going to come back and make everybody white slaves?
Nope.
He going to have us riding around on horses asking them for their tickets to see if they can get out of their plantation? He going to have us hanging in from trees, putting irons on their neck?
Nope.
Right.
He going to have us raping them?
Nope.
Right.
Raping their men and women? He going to have us doing this? I don't think so.
Sure what they think.
Do you not know that before we came to America, we was already involved in homosexuality as Hebrews? Look at Judges 6. They wanted to hit the man that hit that woman. They wanted to tell him more. He said, "Don't do it to me. Let you have her."
Right.
These were Hebrews,
Yeah.
Benjamites. Benjamin almost got destroyed for that. They was committing bestiality already before they came over here.
Yeah.
They was already murdering before they came over here. Sin is not designed to a specific group of people.
Come on.
The community has too. All have sinned and have fallen short. So because you know who you are now, then your responsibility should be greater
Yes.
because you are the one that carries the light. You are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world. Quit putting something over your life so folks can't see you. Yeah, we thank you for your compassion. Listen, man, we got to do what's right. We playing. We're so big on us.
Yep.
It's all about me, what I want, what I gotta have. We don't like to suffer. Something ain't right. Maybe you're suffering because of your own disobedience. We want to judge people. Come on, you got. I see Hebrews fornicating. We want to talk about, can I have 2 wives?
Right.
I've been married 22 years and I'm still trying to learn the one I'm with now. I don't need 2 on. I'm be confused. I gotta deal with the one I gotta deal with now because she growing older herself, and I gotta learn her new ways now. Well, we gotta have 2 wives. We gotta eat vegan. The Sabbath is only 12 hours, not 24 hours.
Right.
Come on, tell that.
You know,
Yeah.
we got all these little small debates.
One thing to another.
That's irrelevant. Well, I can't listen to Paul.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what. I'm listening to what Paul say. And if you don't want to listen to what Paul say, that's fine. I'm not gonna hate you and not be your friend about it. One of us can't be right. So now why don't we sit down and reason together and see who's right, so we both can come to knowledge of the truth, instead of just leaving one another alone, wanting to fight, cussing each other out. I see so many posts on Facebook of Hebrews cussing each other out, want to fight each other over disagreement toward the scriptures. I'm like, wow, you call this man that? Whoa. Think about that. The Ruach HaKodesh, you are blessed to this new covenant, and it leads and guides us into all truth. Yah, we thank you for your compassion. Thank you for being good to us. Help us to walk in righteousness and holiness. Live for your purpose, not our own purpose, Yah. To live to do your will, not our own will. Yah, I pray and ask you to teach us your ways.
Yeah.
If those who are not filled with the Ruach HaKodesh, fill them with the Ruach HaKodesh. Give us that power that's promised. Yeah, those who are even listening, who are not born again, who are not redeemed through Yeshua, get an opportunity to turn to you now, to enter into this new covenant, to walk in your righteousness, to walk in your holiness, to walk in your purpose. Y'all, we need you more than ever.
Yeah.
We can't make it without you. And I pray that you help us as your people to understand your love, your true love.
Yeah.
To understand our responsibility in you. Help us, Yah, to grow in you, to be into this covenant. Continue to put your Torah on our hearts.
Yeah.
Continue to help us to wake up and walk right in you.
Yeah.
So, Yah, we thank you. We just praise you, Yeshua HaMashiach's name. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.